So we're really excited to bring the next iteration of the Bitgov workshops to London in June, both to build on what's already been discussed in Palo Alto at Stanford School of Law, and bring those conclusions to our audience of thinkers and policymakers in London, but also to build bridges with other organisations around the world. One of the key roles of the DLF is to be this kind of hub, this umbrella group for expertise, and through the British Blockchain Association, where I'm on the advisory board, but also other speakers for our London event like Laura Bailey, who's on the advisory board as well. We're going to be able to share this conversation and this learning with other blockchain specialists in other parts of the world. And again, through the Journal of the British Blockchain Association, which is the peer-reviewed journal that's being launched this summer, we'll be able to continue to share academic expertise as well as expertise from the worlds of business and policy making. So we're really excited about this event, and we think we can hopefully bring the discussion onto another level as we bring it around the world.
Wow, Palo Alto was such a success. I'm not sure the template needs to differ particularly. I'd be more than happy to run something that worked as well as the conversation in Palo Alto. And I think a big benefit of what we're trying to do this year is get some read across from various economies, various sets of specialists from around the world, so we can get some agreement on what do we really need to do to allow this type of technology to really take off, and for corporates and governments alike and citizens at the end of the day to engage with it. So I don't think we want too much that's different. What we do want is a new set of speakers, bring new ideas and new points of view in. So that's our ambition for this event, and we think we've got a great lineup. Well, number one, I want to mention the great support we've had from our academic partner, the University College London. We've got some fantastic minds on our panels from their blockchain group, and we're looking forward to the insight they're going to bring. We've also had some wonderful support from the ICAEW, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, for any international viewers. They're hosting us. They're also bringing a perspective from the financial world, financial accounting world, remembering that distributed ledgers are actually ledgers at the end of the day, and maybe there's an accounting use case there or two. But they've got some interesting views, which I know they're going to be bringing forward on the day. And then I'm excited about some of the British-based startups that we've got involved on this event as well. So 2 or 3 that spring to mind. Credo, that's looking to do something amazing with bringing payments to the telco world, interoperable payments. And then we've got Quant, who are looking at building a technology that can interconnect different distributed ledgers. And also Cadre, who are doing some amazing things with pharmaceutical supply chain. So we're going to hear some interesting things from the kind of use cases and the engagement they're getting with corporates.
We're certainly raising the profile of this event among many different types of policymakers, and there's a number of initiatives going on in the UK at the moment. There's the All-Party Parliamentary Group on Blockchain, which I've spoken to. There's a new crypto assets task force which has been launched, which the British Blockchain Association has been asked to get involved in providing information to, and Lord Holmes is also leading a big piece of work for the government around blockchain. So we're hoping to bring all of those people either in person on the day, or if not, through the ongoing outputs of the workshop into the conversation, so that we can really raise hopefully the level of understanding among policymakers and share the learning that we've got from this wonderful group of experts. I think there are many different ways of governing different types of blockchains, and we've got almost a whole sort of marketplace or different landscape of blockchains emerging from, you originally started out with the Bitcoin blockchain, and that was an open source project governed in a particular way, and now you've got many different types of distributed systems and blockchains, and they're all trying to solve that problem in different ways. So one of the key things is understanding that there's more than one type of distributed ledger, and that they might not necessarily all be governed in the same way, and that they might throw up different policy implications and different legal implications. So we need to think about how we can bring some of that together and try and find the best practices around that, and what's the best way of solving disputes, or what's the best way of handling things so that this trust layer of the internet can be truly trusted.
Law firms have got some thinking to, I think, around this kind of technology. There's a lot of challenges, not least, as Helen has already mentioned, the concept of governance. And I would say actually higher than that, trust. What builds trust? What happens when trust breaks down? How do we regulate those kind of things? And it'll be a win for us on this event if we can just get people starting to think about mechanisms for governance and trust. But you can also then dive down into a much lower level of detail with the law firms where they've got current hot topics such as the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation. It's I'll be surprised if nobody who's listening to this has heard it, or if there's anybody who's listening to this who has not heard of it. But for those who haven't, it's bringing some pretty draconian and strict rules around the protection of personal information and the usage of it, and the rights that we citizens have over that information. That's going to present a real challenge to distributed ledger technologies whose general principle is to be open and distributed, which kind of goes, and immutable, of course, which kind of goes against the principle of things like the right to deletion or the right to portability or the right to access and change things, which the GDPR introduced. So lawyers, I'm assuming, will do very well out of the new movement in distributed ledger technology, but they've got a lot of thinking to do, and they need to get their advice clarified and sorted out fairly quickly, because they're going to be asked some challenging questions, I suspect.
Just to add to that, I think also law firms, it's broader than that. It's the whole set of new technologies and how they converge with blockchain. So, what about blockchain combined with AI? What about blockchain combined with VR? Lots of different technologies that are going to come together, the Internet of Things. There's many different technical issues that are going to be thrown up by those technologies all working together. So it's a complex area for law firms that want to specialise in that field.
You're absolutely right, Helen. And actually, on top of that, I think there's some interesting moral questions that will be thrown up by it as well when we get into Internet of Things and automated cars and AI. So we're in for a good few years, but I'm looking forward to the next 9 months with the Distributed Ledger Foundation.